Oh, Me now, Mob Nasty? Let me try this. Let me get this guy out of the way, change him a little bit. Okay. Making sure everything is on point here. All right. Now you're good. Okay, got you. All right. So, man, I love Pat McAfee, dog. I thought the guy brought the energy. I thought the guy as color commentator was great. I made a video about how great he really is because being a face and doing color commentary, um, that's rough. It's hard to really get over as a face color commentator. Usually, you got to be a heel, right? You got to be Jesse the Body Ventura. You got to be Bobby the Brain Heenan. You got to be. I mean, I don't know if Jerry the King Lawler was really a heel, and honestly, I don't think he was really that good. But you got to be, JBL. You got to be a heel to be a great color commentator, for the most part. But in all reality, I don't think, dog. Um, I don't think there's any face color commentary that was as good or can be as good as Pat McAfee. I'm over here changing some channels, man. You guys bear with me. I don't know. I'm trying to look for this, but can't really get it. So Pat McAfee, he's gone at least for quite a few months, which is the entire college football season. He made a video about it. He was talking about that the schedule would be a little bit too much, the travel issues would be there, and that the WWE acknowledged the fact that hey, you know what, we don't want you wearing yourself out, so go do what you're gonna do over there with ESPN, working that with college games, and then your job will be here because he just signed a contract. That's the thing, man. He just signed a deal with the WWE. So I don't know everything the specifics in that contract, but man, dog, it sucks to see him go. It really does, man, and I hope he does come back. So now the question is he going to be seasonal? Every time football season comes around, is that going to be the time where he um, leaves and goes and does those duties, right? Because WWE is year round. There is no season. But I think they're going to love him. I think ESPN is going to love him and really try to get him, dog. We've seen other guys leave the WWE for things like ESPN. Jonathan Coachman, if you guys remember the coach, I thought he was good. I thought he was really good. I really loved Jonathan Coachman. A couple of guys, man. Todd Grisham, who does a lot of boxing. He actually works for DAZN now. I thought he was pretty good. I don't know if anybody remembers him. Wears the glasses, kind of nerdy looking guy. I thought he was pretty good. Right? So I'm really hoping McAfee has a passion and love for wrestling, for the WWE specifically, where he says, you know what, you can offer me a lot more money. That's cool, but I like doing what I'm doing. I really hope that's the case. Because the guy can bring it. The guy can do a lot of great things, man. He brings the energy, not just in wrestling, but I think he's going to bring that energy on this other job with college football and game day with them. And maybe they're even going to offer him a full-time, doing more things outside of college football, but just being there on ESPN, man. And that can be a threat. That can be a threat of him leaving WWE. So I don't like it, but hey, homie, you know what? Much love to Pat McAfee. Corey Graves, I love Corey Graves. I like what he's doing, dog. I've, since he jumped on the scene from the get go, when he got outside of wrestling and jumped on to doing commentary, I was like, damn, I don't really know much about this guy, but this guy is good. Like, this guy is really good. I was just more amazed with Pat McAfee because it's tough being a face and being that over as a color commentator, man. Usually you got to be a heel. That's just the way it really is. But anyway, what do you guys think about that? Polite Scumbag is saying he didn't like Pat McAfee. I loved him, dog. I loved him. I thought he was really good. And he was even having some matches. And he's actually pretty good in the ring. So, with that, Corey Graves, because of his injuries, he can't get into the ring, right? But with that, with Pat McAfee, every so often, I hope they don't overdo it, but every so often, you can have Pat McAfee get into the ring because he is pretty good, man. He can go inside that ring. I don't want to see him as a wrestler. I don't want to see him, every pay-per-view. I don't even want to see him every quarter. But maybe in the four major ones, maybe he makes an entrance at the Royal Rumble. Maybe he is at WrestleMania. Maybe he is in SummerSlam. Maybe he does have a match at Survivor Series. Like that, that's okay, I guess. Maybe all four is a little pushing it, but maybe two out of those. Two times in the ring, that's cool. And then he does this color commentary again. I really love McAfee, man. I think the guy is really good and he can really bring it. So, man, I really hope to see McAfee come back. But let's see what happens, man. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on Pat McAfee? I really enjoyed the guy. But for now, we got Corey Graves, which, hey, it's not really a downgrade because the guy's great as well. I would hope that one day JBL comes back. I'm really hoping for that. I know he does a lot of things outside of wrestling. He's got a lot going for him, but I really love JBL, man. I really did. I thought the guy was really, really good. So, you guys, excuse me for 1 second, man. All right, back on it. The suspense about that. So, anyway, something else I want to talk about was we all heard what happened with the whole CM Punk thing. I made a video about it. I think the guy, I've had it with that guy, really. Now, I do like him. He did have a part in the show The Mayans. I don't know if you guys saw that. I did like him on there. Hopefully, maybe he gets into a little bit more acting. Maybe that opens a few more doors for him to get into the acting business. But in wrestling, look, I'm being real with all the junkies, man. Okay. And maybe some of you guys are like super duper fans of his. I don't get it. I don't understand what is so great about CM Punk. The guy really thinks a lot of himself, man, which is cool. That's fine. But as long as you're in reality world, right? As long as your feet are grounded onto what's actually going on. Okay. This guy believes that he is like on Hulk Hogan status, The Rock, John Cena status. He believes, man, that he's up there with The Undertaker, and he is not. He's not. And he also has this attitude of that he should be above these guys. I never really thought much of him. To me, yes, he was, he was all right. He's pretty good. I'm not saying this guy sucks. I'm not saying he's a complete nobody. But for dang sure, dog, this is not a guy that's going to be carrying the major company being WWE. Yeah, he could be the guy in AEW. But there's this, I kind of want to talk about the fan base a little bit more, but because there are these wrestling fans, right? There's these wrestling fans that just love to bring WWE down and just scoff and turn their nose up at WWE. And then praise all the lower promotions, right? There's these wrestling fans that see themselves as more because they don't like WWE. They like the Ring of Honors, the New Japans, the AEWs, the Impact Wrestling. And while all those are good and fine, and I do watch some of that stuff, WWE still the big times, baby. That's Major League Baseball. That's the NBA. That's the NFL. You could love all the smaller leagues. That's fine. That's fine. Go and show them your support. But I think a lot of those fans, right, are some of these CM Punk super duper fans. Because how Vince McMahon and Triple H really didn't like CM Punk. It's like, yeah, that's right. Stick it to the man, right? It's like this movement behind CM Punk. And by the way, it's not most wrestling fans. Let's get that straight. It's not most wrestling fans. But there is a handful of wrestling fans that just continually keep wanting to just point their finger at everything bad and everything wrong with the WWE and keep praising all these other smaller promotions. Like they don't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. And we're seeing what's going on with AEW. And I like AEW. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say like I'm some super duper over the hill AEW fan. Nah, man, they do some pretty good things. I like AEW. And I like that it's around. That being said, a lot of the top guys in there are former WWE guys. Not all of them, but some of them. Right? You had somebody like Kenny Omega who was a star all around the world, man, except WWE. But most guys that are top dogs there are former WWE guys. CM Punk being one of them. And this guy goes into AEW wanting to bury all the talent, wanting to be that guy that he was not at WWE. In WWE, man, he wanted to pin The Undertaker. He wanted to end The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. He wanted to be that guy. He wanted to, defeat Triple H. He wanted to defeat everybody. And I get it. Everybody wants to do that. I got it. But see, the thing is, when he didn't get it that way, it was a pouting fest. It was bringing heat to the locker room. Because he believed that he should be on that level. And to a certain extent, you should believe that you need to be on that level. You should believe to be the best, right? To work your way up there. So I'm not arguing that. But this guy is not on that level, man. He never was. Look what he's doing over there with AEW now. Right? When he first stepped onto AEW, man, there was a big pop. It was a big pop. Everybody cheering for him and everything, right? And I remember people saying like, oh, man, WWE's in trouble now. Now look what's going on. He's bringing heat to the locker room. Okay, there's this brawl that happened. He's injured prone. I mean, the guy, he's not 100%. He keeps getting injured. And now you got AEW talent that's asking for the release. They want out. And what's strange to me is that a lot of these wrestling fans that hate WWE, apparently, I don't know if they really hate WWE or they just want to say that they do just so they could seem cool, right? Just so they could seem like, oh, man, I'm not with everybody else. I'm different. There's these wrestling fans that just completely want to destroy WWE or not destroy it. They just want to be against it, right? But they don't want to see it get destroyed because it seems like they do like it, they do love it, but they don't want to admit it. And it just separates them from the pack. And with this going on in AEW, man, I don't hear them talk. I don't really hear them saying anything. Yeah, they'll go ahead and talk about like, yeah, man, there was a brawl. There was a brawl in the back. Okay. That's all you got to say about it? What about the diva that CM Punk is showing that he is? I don't miss him in WWE. Charlie, homie. I'm glad he's not there. I'm glad he's not there, man. Not to mention, this dude is well past his prime. And even in his prime, he was never really that great. Good, yeah, fine. I'll give you that. Yes, he was good. But he was never that great. And at his age today, with his body breaking down, with all the stuff that he's pulling, is it really worth AEW, Tony? Is it really worth keeping them around? Or do you just start pushing your young talent? So let's see, man. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. There's a couple of rumor reports that he's getting fired, that they're letting him go. As of right now, I haven't seen anything that is solid, completely stamped, signed, sealed, and delivered yet. But for all you, WWE haters out there, listen, man, things ain't all that great at AEW. And I don't get it. I don't understand this whole like, hey, man, I love all these lower promotions, which means I hate WWE. I don't understand that. You could be a fan of all of it. But again, there's there's those wrestling fans that just want to, pretend that they hate the WWE, and all these lower promotions are God's gift to wrestling fans. Whatever, man. I'm not on that boat. And I ain't part of your movement either. Stop trying to get me on your movement, homie. My onda's not your onda, carnal. Let's see. In 2012, Punk got his title run. Got on the WWE 13 game cover, face Jericho, The Rock, Undertaker, and still cried that he was being misused. He always has been crying that he is misused. Always. This guy wanted to be the one to end Undertaker's streak. No matter what, he's never satisfied, man. And again, this is not me picking on him, but he was never on that level. He was never on that level. Whether you like these guys that I'm about to name or don't like them, that's not the point. But he was never on the level of Hulk Hogan. He was never on the level of Stone Cold or The Rock or John Cena. He was never on that level. Whether you like those guys, whether you hate those guys, I don't care. It's irrelevant. My point is he was never on that level. How over those guys were. Agreed or disagreed, you cannot deny that how over those guys really were. CM Punk was never on that level. Yeah, he's over. Yeah, he's good. He's got this super duper hardcore fan base that just love him. I believe that they just love him because Vince and Triple H disliked him. WWE is legendary. Yeah, it is. It is. But you got a certain wrestling fan base that just tries to pretend that they're above WWE because they like all the lower promotions, that they turn their nose up at WWE, that they're like, oh, you like that? Like, come on, dog. That's for like non-wrestling fans. Like, nah, AEW and Impact and Ring of Honor, like that's for real wrestling fans. Like, come on, man. Like they just attack WWE over and over and over again. But any of these lower promotions, they can never do anything wrong. Man, AEW is having some issues right now. And that's not me attacking AEW. That's just what's in the news. But, la primera lives. Yeah, man. So, you know what? Don't try to get me over there with your little, mob, your little crew over there, man. That's good. Hey, man, AEW, all these little promotions. We'll speak highly on them, and we'll just keep on bashing WWE. Chale, dog. I ain't with that, right, homie. So you guys go do your thing. I ain't getting on that. I ain't getting on that boat. Like I said, your onda's not my onda, and it never will be, dog. Anyway, last thing I want to bring up is this. Listen, there's I was watching a video the other day, and they were talking about should Ken Shamrock, because Ken Shamrock was he was being interviewed, right? And he was asked, he's been inducted in a few Hall of Fames. Should he be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? And it got me, I'm a truck driver. I'm trucking and I'm over there scratching my head and I'm like, that's a good question. And I'm asking my junkies, man. I'm asking you guys because I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame or not. And as I'm there, as I'm listening, and as I'm driving, and the miles keep passing under the vulcanized rubber that we call tires, I'm thinking, You know what, Holmes? When I think of certain individuals that they've allowed into the WWE Hall of Fame, yeah, then yes, Ken Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame because of certain individuals that they have in there. Coco Beware's in the Hall of Fame. Like, really? Coco Beware? Tori Wilson? Like, she's in the Hall. Candice Michelle? She's in the Hall of Fame? Like, serio? No? Like, what did they do? Other than eye candy, right? Can't deny that, homie. They had all the curves in all the right places. But like, okay. I'm telling you guys, man, I'm gonna come up with all the lists, right? I'm gonna talk about all the lists one day. We're gonna go live, man, and I'm gonna plan it out. And we're gonna go through all the lists and let's see how many of those should be in the Hall of Fame and should not be in the Hall of Fame. Stone Cold Steve Austin in the Hall of Fame, right? Andre the Giant in the Hall of Fame. Mil Mascaras in the Hall of Fame. Booker T in the Hall of Fame. A lot of these greats. Hulk Hogan in the Hall of Fame. A lot of these greats, maybe some of these weren't even that great in in-ring performance. Like Hulk Hogan, you know, you could go back and say, like, his in-ring performance isn't all that great. You're right. But man, at that time, homie, hey, dog, he was wrestling. Regardless of anything else, he was wrestling. Whenever anybody thought wrestling, boom, immediately. At that time, you thought the immortal Hulk Hogan. All of those in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, and then you got other people in there where I'm like, wait a second, why are they in the Hall of Fame for? Undertaker in the Hall of Fame, HBK in the Hall of Fame, Bret the Hitman Hart in the Hall of Fame. All of these are worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. Trish Stratus in the Hall of Fame, Lita in the Hall of Fame. And they should be. The Macho Man Randy Savage, Hall of Famer. Yes, 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 and yes. But let's not deny that there is a nice, pretty long list of people in the Hall of Fame that you're like, what? Why are they in there? So my question is, should Ken Shamrock be in the Hall of Fame? If I had it my way, homie, okay, and I don't, all right, there's a lot of talent in the Hall of Fame that should not be in the Hall of Fame. But because they are in there, then I say, then yes, Ken Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame. He should. He was IC champion. He did have somewhat of an impact. All right. He was over to a certain extent. And just considering who you've allowed into the Hall of Fame, yeah, then I think he should be in there. If you cut all those people out, the people that I'm talking about, right, that shouldn't be in there, then no. Then don't allow him. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Let me see. Donald Trump in Hall of Fame. You know what? But that's the Celebrity Hall of Fame, though, dog. 8-Ball. That's the Celebrity Hall of Fame. That, you know, they got they do one every year. They put who else do they have in there? Snoop Dogg is in there. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's in there. You had a couple of those guys. Yeah, they do a celebrity Hall of Fame. Is in shoot, who else is in there, man? Is Bob Barker in there? I'm not really sure. A couple of these celebrities get in there, and that's fine. That's cool. I don't really have an issue with it. If some celebrity went in there and really made an impact in wrestling, it's the entertainment game and everything, then I have no problem with them having their own little section, right? In the what they would call the celebrity WWE Hall of Fame. That's cool. I'm okay with that, right? But if you're talking about in-ring talent, right? Or just being part of wrestling, right? Like Mean Gene Okerlund, he's in there. Bobby the Brain Heenan, he's in there, right? These guys that really had an impact on the business. But there's some talent, man. Well, I'm like, why? I got no idea why you got them in there. So again, should Ken Shamrock, should he be in the Hall of Fame? I spoke my piece. I say, if I had it my way, the Hall of Fame would be completely restructured on who's in there and who should not be in there. And because of that, no, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But because I don't have it my way, I'm gonna scream and pout just like CM Punk does. Because I don't have it my way, and you've opened the door to all this talent that really didn't have an impact on wrestling. And you're just, some of these people you don't even really know, you kind of forgot about. You're kind of like, wait, weren't these fools just kind of like jobbers, right? Like, I don't know, man. Are these guys really on that level of the Steve Austins, of the HBKs, of the Undertakers, of the Macho Mans? You're putting these guys on their level? Like, come on, man. The Hall of Fame is supposed to be for that extraordinary, dog. And you're putting all these fools up there on their level, child, dog. But since you open the door for all these individuals that are not on their level and calling them Hall of Famers, since you did that, then yes, then Ken Shamrock should be in the Hall of Fame. So I've spoken about the Hall of Fame before, and I said this. There is no Hall of Fame, and that's sad, right? There should be some sort of museum. There should be something where you physically, as a fan, as a junkie, should be able to go out and see pictures and titles on the walls and monuments and portraits. There should be a Hall of Fame facility where you see nothing but just the Hall of Famers. The gear that they wore in certain matches. Different pictures, I want to see a nice big, portrait of Shawn Michaels versus Bret the Hitman Hart, WrestleMania 12 in the Iron Man match. I want to see the stare down between Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6, champion versus champion, title for title. I want to see, Eddie Guerrero celebrating after he got the victory over Brock Lesnar. These things, right? These things that make it so great, these moments that keep us as junkies. There needs to be some sort of facility that somebody can go visit and see these things and relive those memories. It's great that you got, the network, which is on Peacock now, and you can go back. And hey, dog, I'll be real, homie. Sometimes, dog, I sit back and I crack open a beer. It may be late at night. You know what I mean? If everybody else is asleep and I can't sleep and I'm still up, I go back, homie, and I'll go and watch some old school wrestling matches, man. Crack open a nice cold one and just watch it, man, and just relive it. Just relive it, man. So but it'd be nice, dog. It'd be good to go to an actual facility and see a Hall of Fame, which it doesn't exist. um I'm sorry, Owen Hart's wife. Owen Hart's not in the Hall of Fame because his wife doesn't allow it. His widow doesn't allow it. And she's criticized the Hall of Fame. She's the one that has put them on blast. She said, look, that Hall of Fame is a joke. There is no Hall of Fame. There is no facility. There is no list. There is no anything, no anywhere where you could go and see the Hall of Famers. It's just they have the ceremony to make their feria, and that's that. There is no Hall of Fame outside of that. You get your ring, and that may be true, but outside of that, there's nothing. It's just a ceremony, celebration, and boom, that's it. Everybody go on their way, and your name doesn't go down anywhere. There's no books. There's no books of Hall of Famers that you able to purchase or that you're able to see anywhere. And while I disagree with the widow respectfully that Owen Hart should be in the Hall of Fame, I do agree with her on that point. The point that no, there should be something. I would really like to make a push for that. Not just, I know that they were coming up, and I think this is going to happen. That they're coming up with a place for people to go and check out, almost like a WWE museum, but not a Hall of Fame museum, right? It was just going to be a museum. I know that they were in talks of that. There was even a show because they were trying to get a lot of the old school stuff back, man, that some of these wrestling fans have held on to for a long time and try to auction them off and whatever it may be. So yeah, and that's cool. I'm glad they're doing that, but I want a Hall of Fame, and maybe they can combine it and have the whole have one section be a Hall of Fame section. You go in here and you're gonna see all the greats of the greats. Unfortunately, a lot of the talent that they've let in are not the greats of the greats. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's why I do somewhat agree with the widow of Owen Hart that the Hall of Fame is a little bit of a joke. So should Ken Shamrock be in the Hall of Fame? Because the Hall of Fame is the way it is, unfortunately, then yes, I do believe he should be in the Hall of Fame. But the way the Hall of Fame should be, then no, he shouldn't be in there. So with that, junkies, I'm going to get up out of here, man. We've been going for over 40 minutes. And I just kind of want to touch on those three things that were kind of weighing on me. One, Pat McAfee, he's gone. He's apparently he's coming back, but he's gone, man, to do the game day for college football. And I just think he's so good that ESPN is going to offer him more work at ESPN. And I hope he doesn't turn his back on WWE, which he just renewed his contract. And but hey, man, it happens. You know what? I hope he does have the love and passion for the WWE, because I think he's great at what he does right there on SmackDown every Friday night, man. So that's one thing. The second thing, CM Punk, homie, this fool, dog, he's a diva, homie. Everywhere this vato goes, dog, there's always drama. Everywhere he's touched down, there's always drama behind it, because he always wants to be He always wants to be that top dog. And yes, I agree. You should want to be that top dog. But he immediately just thinks he's all that on a bag of chips, that he should be pinning everybody, getting over on everybody. Nobody should pin me cleanly. Nobody should submit me. I should be the champion, and nobody should beat me cleanly at least. Everybody needs to be below me, and every big opportunity needs to be, with me. I need to be the one to pin Undertaker cleanly at WrestleMania. He pinned John Cena cleanly. Not everybody gets to do that. But this fool keeps crying about everything, dog. This fool's a diva. He's never been that great, Holmes. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. I do like him inside the ring. He can go, but he's never been the best in-ring performer. He's not up there, dog, with the Bret Harts, with the Eddie Guerreros, with the HBKs, with the AJ Styles. He ain't up there. Yeah, he can go. He can do some all right things inside the ring, but he's never been the best. So to me, AEW, dog, it was cool that they got him just so they could get some recognition, because he does have a name. Don't get me wrong. He does have a name. And his fan base, dog, I don't get it with his fan base. Like, he can never do anything wrong. But all he was doing at AEW, all he really wanted to do was just bury the young talent. Dog, how can you build your promotion up if you're just going to have this old timer come in and just bury all your young guys? Come on, man. Some of these young guys, you're trying to build them up. They're the future, not this guy. This guy is going to last 2 more years, if that. His body's breaking down. But no, man, it's time to put that puppy down, man. Let him go. And hey, you know what? He's got charisma, man. I saw him on the Mayans. Maybe he could do a little bit more with that. Get a little bit more acting jobs or whatever it may be. Even do some commentary. He's good on the mic. The guy can cut some promos. So, but outside of that, dog, this dude, he's a cancer, homie. He's a cancer to the locker room. So, and now a lot of AEW talent is asking for their release. So, and the last thing that I touched on was the Hall of Fame. Should Ken Shamrock be in the Hall of Fame or not? He was Intercontinental Champion. And hey, what's your thoughts on that? But with that, guys, we're over 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Shout outs to my brothers in crime. One, Mr. Pablo from LA Times, and Cricket from Incredible Javier. Shout outs to all my wrestling junkies. Everybody, remember, if you're a junkie, there's nothing wrong with you. It's all the normies. There's something wrong with them. You're not the problem. We're not the problem. They're the problem, Holmes, all right? So shout outs to all my junkies out there. Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. I'll catch you guys next time.